What's up, everybody? This is Desmond De La Ghetto for DreamCouncil.com. Just wanted to share a couple of words for this episode of the KOF 13 character series. In this episode, we're talking about Athena with Marco Polo, Choysauce, and LazieFreddy. This episode is a very, very good episode. There's a lot of good information, a lot of good tips and tricks, a lot of good strategies and good questions and answers and whatnot. I would say that the sound quality is a bit on the poor side, so if you could turn up your volume on whatever set that you're using, or turn up the EQ or whatever, because I didn't properly sound check everybody before we recorded, so you might have a little trouble hearing Marco Polo especially, and a little bit of Choysauce. You can hear LazieFreddy pretty clearly because he has a pretty distinctive voice, but yeah, I think that's about it. So I want you to sit back, relax, crank up the volume, tune your ear very carefully, and enjoy this episode. Alright, peace. Alright, welcome back. Welcome to the Dream Council Podcast, KOF 13 character series, where we talk about a single character per episode with the players that play them. And we're talking about Athena of the Psycho Soldier team. And we're talking with Choysauce.
Hey, what's up?
Marco Polo.
Hello.
And LazieFreddy.
Hello.
And why don't we just start it off with just a little brief summary. Choysauce, why don't you tell the listeners kind of what kind of character Athena is? And
yeah, sure. So my opinion of Athena is that my overall description of her is that she's like El Fuerte with the fireball and DP. So she is kind of gimmicky in that sense. So you have to my main strategy with her is that you do that, you play that fireball DP game, but because of how KOF is, it's kind of tough to always be outside and do that. So you kind of trick them into thinking, oh, I'm going to go in, and then decide, oh no, I'm going to back out. So that's great about her run speed. So you run in really fast and you think, oh, she's going to start rushing me down. But no, you back up and do the really far backdash and continue with that fireball game. So it makes them really hesitant about what they want to do, or about where you're going to be as well. So I think that's what's really good about her, and her command grab makes her really viable for rush down because of that.
Right. Okay. Freddy, you have anything to kind of say about her play style, her her kind of character type?
Yeah, I think of Athena as a very annoying grappler with a fireball. Athena has a really good fireball, but on top of her fireball game, her command grab is also really good. It's invincible, and she can get a lot of damage out of her command grab. And on top of that, she is really fast, and she can be really annoying. She can get on your nerves. So, yeah, that's my summary of Athena.
Alright, cool. Marco, man?
Athena. In my personal opinion, Athena is just fucking lame. I'm sorry for my language, but she is. It's all about fireball and DP. She will annoy you, but that's her type of strategy. She's probably one of the best zoners in the game. Freddy and Choysauce mentioned, she has all the tools. Good fireball, which is very vulnerable for people that want to jump in. You could either DP, or you could do a super, or you could jump CD towards him, because in my opinion, her jump CD is really, really good, and her jump arc is really, really high. As for, escape options, you could either do a fireball and backdash, or you could EX dash to the other side. You could pretty much annoy them. Another mix-up is that, her forward B and everything else, and they'll probably pause for a moment, and you could check them with either Phoenix Arrow or EX Arrow, or basically just forward B back, and you're fine. Like her command grab in the corner, like she's very strong in the corner. She could do like two crouch slows into a DP. She could do a command grab, which is really good damage, and she just has a lot of mix-up potential. Like the way I play her is just basically just zoning and everything else, and if I need to rush down with her, she can actually rush down.
Mm-hmm.
Like she has many options. Like EX Cycle Ball is very, very slow, so if people try to jump in and they get hit, it's a free punish. Or they try to jump over it, you just cross under, and then basically do like a standing C or B quarter combo. And she has very much all the tools, and she's pretty much that's a game. All about zoning.
Right. Okay. So, what do you guys think are her main disadvantages compared to the other characters in the game? Choysauce, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of her disadvantages?
I think her DP compared to some other characters is not as good, depending on the situation, because it's not a great wake up get off me DP. It's mainly like a anti-air and combo kind of move, in my opinion. Like, because the way that the hitbox is, like you can easily overjump it, and yeah, so that's what I feel about her DP, and like she needs a little bit more meter than other characters do, in my opinion, in order to do a lot of damage. Like she definitely needs meter. It doesn't do too much just by herself with like 0 meter. And yeah, so I think those are really just her main weaknesses that I feel, and like her hot is definitely a lot higher, so it's easier to anti-air her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Freddy, man, what do you think are some disadvantages?
Yeah, I agree with Choysauce. Athena's DP, the problem with her DP is that the light DP is fast, but it doesn't have any invincibility. The heavy DP is invincible, but it's slow, and also moves her a little bit forward when she does it, so it's really easy to whiff when people are jumping on you, unless you space it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, I think some of Athena's ground pokes are kind of weak, like her stand jab, standing B are not as good as other characters. So when people are hopping at you, you can't really have like a go-to button like Kim or Benny. You can just like stand A, stand B, and hit them out of it.
Marco, what do you think about her disadvantages as well?
Oh, simple. She doesn't have a wake-up option. Like, her only wake-up option is probably EX dash, and you have to waste meter for that. And the corner, as Freddy said, is still trying to jump towards you. Your best possible option will probably be you're gonna have to block because you try to do a light DP that has no invincibility, so you're gonna trade. And if the heavy one, it has a slow startup. So, and sometimes when someone tries to jump towards you, it moves her forward. So pretty much like it'll totally whip on her, and that's a free punish. That's one of her disadvantages she has. Like she really doesn't have any wake-up option. Like Freddy mentioned all about the poke fire. We'll talk about that later on. But that's the only thing, like no wake-up option.
Okay.
What I see.
All right, cool. I think one thing for me, that I'm learning Athena, that I'm having a little problem with is like, I think like her hit confirms are kind of short. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a close C into 4B, and then like on the crouching side, there's a crouch B into stand jab. Like, do y'all feel like her hit confirms are kind of on the like short end compared to a lot of other characters?
Yeah, I do agree with that in the sense that if you want to do the more damaging hit confirms, then you only get like maybe 2 hits. Like crouch BB into CDP is probably the more consistent one. I mean, you can do 3, but you have to you have to be really close, and you have to hit the 3 crouch Bs really fast. And but she definitely has more she has hit confirms that are easy. On the easier side, you can do crouch BB, stand A, and then ADP. I mean, it doesn't do as much damage, but it'll definitely guarantee that you're confirming that. And then close C, or like move the normal into the forward B. That's actually a really good hit confirm in my opinion, because it's like if you see them hit, you can just do like Phoenix Arrow, and then, but if it doesn't hit, you can try to frame trap Phoenix Arrow, which is kind of risky, and also you can be buffering the super just in case they want to like come at you for something.
Okay. What do y'all think about her HD combos? You think it's worth learning or whatever, or do they inflict a lot of damage compared to some other characters?
I think her HD combos is just basically like it's only useful in my personal opinion if maybe she's in the corner.
Yeah.
And if she's a point character. Because, like, second or anchor, like, it's really not worth wasting all that meter. But the best thing you could probably do is, like, once you activate HD, it's pretty much like, like standing B, forward B, and then her Phoenix Arrow, HD cancels your shield cycle ball, then DP cancels cycle ball, DP cancels cycle ball, and then you do her Neomax. The majority of the times, it's not really necessarily worth it, because in my personal opinion, I feel like just her corner combos and using like one drive cancel will do a lot more damage than wasting all that HD.
Right. Okay.
So that's just how I see it.
Right.
I feel like her HD. Actually, I feel like she actually has pretty decent HD combos. I came up with a couple myself. One for midstream and one for the corner, but it's definitely like meter dependent. Like for the ones that I came up with, you definitely need at least 3. Like there is a couple that you can do with 2, but it's definitely at least the midstream one that I found that works really well. You definitely need 3, and then you get about close to 770, maybe 750. So it's pretty decent damage. I mean, for a character of her type, that doesn't really bank on like being able to do like a really high damaging HD combo. But if you have it in the bank, then you could just just have it in the bag, and you have it, then it's really good in my opinion, actually.
Yeah, the only times I really do her HD is in the corner after a command grab. So after a command grab in the corner, you can do a fireball, and then jump forward and HD bypass the Phoenix Arrow, and then go into HD. And if you have like 3 bars, you can actually go up to 780 damage for 3 bars after command grab in the corner. So I think that's pretty good. And Athena's HD, her Neomax is really stylish, so you can just like taunt your opponent when you're doing it. It's really cool. I love doing it.
Cool, very cool. So why don't we talk about her normals? Why don't we start with her standing normals? What do y'all feel like her best pokes overall, just like standing wise?
In my opinion, I think standing C, like if you try to throw like cycle ball and a neutral hop, like standing C is like perfect. Or you could just sweep them. And when almost like standing A and B, it's okay maybe on close range with like stuff hops and everything else. And her standing B is okay for like corner pressure, but other than that, like mid screen, they're not that great. That's just how I see it.
Okay. Marco, any thoughts on her standing pokes or some good normals?
I think that was Marco.
I just said that. I was thinking.
Oh! Okay, my Choysauce.
Yeah, so as far as pokes go, I think her longest poke is definitely her stand B, which goes over loads, which is really nice. I think for whiff punishing, stand C and crouch C are my personal favorites, because you can hit confirm those pretty easily for whiff punish into forward B, and it usually ends up covering because of the hit stun. Stand A and stand B are more pressure and tend to be like kind of anti-air, like anti-hop type normals. Stand A and crouch A I tend to use for ticking into command grab. And what's cool about the stand B, since she has a command grab, it whiffs on crouchers. So you can kind of use that to ensure that you don't have them in block stun, and then you just do stand B right into command grab, and it's like, oh crap, you got me. And close D is actually a really good anti-air as well. because it goes straight up into the air. But it's kind of iffy, and I haven't found a good time or a good spacing limit to use it properly. But it's definitely an anti-air normal. Yeah, I think that's about it.
All right, cool. Freddy?
Yeah, I also really like standing heavy kick.
Yeah.
In close range, she kind of has a up kick. You can cancel that into fireball for pressure. So when you walk up, and a lot of people like to hold up back because they're scared of the command grab, so you can just walk up and stand D to hit them out of it. At far range, stand D is like her longest range poke. That goes over lows. That's also pretty good. It's kind of like a crappier version of Benny's stand D, but it's still really good. Yep.
All right.
Cool. One more thing. Another standing move that I really like is standing blowback. The hitbox on that move is massive. Yeah.
I think that's probably one of her best anti-air normals.
Oh, really?
And if you get a counter hit, you can cancel it into the teleport, and then do a DP afterwards to get more damage out of it.
That's interesting, man. I never thought to use it in that way. I might have to start experimenting around with that. And plus it moves her forward, right? So you can kind of like Kara a little bit.
Kara command grab, that also works.
Word. Dang, I never knew. I never really knew that. Like in that kind of situation. So yeah, I might try that. Yeah, I mean, for in my opinion, her standing pokes. Yeah, I agree with all y'all. I think her heavy kick, her stand heavy kick is pretty good. I think it's really useful against Dulong with his 4B, because the stand kick can just just go right over it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's invulnerable to lows. Her stand A, I've just been using that a lot. Like you can almost kind of like spam that sometimes, to kind of keep people from like hopping in on you and stuff like that. And it's pretty good against Billy if someone's trying to just like 4A you to death in a corner over and over. Like it'll just kind of beat it clean if you just like throw it out a couple times. And plus it hits crouchers as well. I think one of y'all mentioned that, if I clearly recall. But yeah, I'm a fan of her stand A and her crouch A too. I believe that her crouch A is isn't that like 3 frames on block or something like that, or
+3? I'm not exactly sure.
Maybe, yeah. So it's a pretty good tick. And I haven't really got used to using her stand B that much, man. So I'll try my best to start using that a little bit more. But anyways, moving along, why don't we talk about her jump normals? What jump normals y'all feel are most important and useful? Why don't we start with Choysauce?
Yeah, I think for standard jump-ins, like jump D would probably be the best. But I usually actually go for stand C, a jump C, because what you can do with that is you can target combo it into her forward B. That also with the jumping A. And the really, really good thing about that is that the target combo, both hits are overhead. So that really gets a lot of people, because they when you block the first hit of the jump in, you want to block low right away, because you can go low, but no, you could do an overhead setup double overhead setup on him that way. So other than that, it would be jump CD as like a air-to-air normal. That would probably be the best in that situation. Jump B is her cross-up jumping normal, but I personally don't use it as much. But when you want to kind of do that ambiguous cross-up setups, then that's probably the normal to go for. And then also her forward B, but I think forward B is actually a better cross-up normal. Because you can actually hit confirm a lot of good stuff off of that, and the hitbox is really big, and it's really active, so it's really good in that sense too.
Okay, cool. Marco, any thoughts on her jumping normals?
I have to agree with Choysauce completely. Like her jumping C, you can cancel it into 4B, that's a really good option. And her air-to-air, as I mentioned earlier, her jump CD is really, really good because of her jump arc. It's really good, especially in the corner. You could just basically get like a fireball, and I think perhaps you could DP cancel and all that, and maybe just DP guys cancel to a fireball, and then it's like another DP. So that's the norm I normally go for, like jump CD, like air to air. But if I need to like do process, and maybe like jump B, or just for pressure, like jump C into forward B. I think that's the best tool she has right now.
Right. Oh, you mentioned her jump CD. Yeah, that joint is cancelable too, right?
Yeah, you can cancel that into the 4B as well. I know that RJ 4-leaf around here, that's a go-to string that he does in the air.
Okay, cool. Freddy, man, any thoughts on her jumping normals?
Yeah, pretty much what Choysauce and Marco said. Jump C into forward B, and then cancel it into Phoenix Arrow. That's really good. Most people would get hit by that if they ended up blocking the whole thing. You can, after the Phoenix Arrow, they probably wouldn't react, so we can like walk up and frame trap them or command grab them. So that's a really good mix-up afterwards.
Alright, very cool. Okay, why don't we talk about her crouching normals? I think we kind of touched a little bit upon her crouching normals when we were talking about her standing normals, but
not too much of it. I don't think.
Yeah. Why don't we talk about those real quick? Freddy, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your favorite crouching normals?
My favorite crouching normal is crouch B, like kick. It's got a really low profile, so you can actually duck under a lot of fireballs when you mash this move. It's also cancelable, so you can go for a low B, hit confirm into DP, as Choysauce mentioned earlier. It's also good for frame trapping. You can go for a low B and then close C frame trap, or you can just close B, crouch B, walk forward, command grab. So that's a really good mix-up. Other ground crouching normals that I like is crouch C. It's got a really good reach, and you can hit confirm that really easy into forward B. Yep.
All right, cool. Choysauce, thoughts on her crouching normals?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Freddy there. Crouch B and Crouch C, I think, are definitely her main crouching normals. Crouch A, it's I don't know, like it's +3 on block, but I think that's kind of more of like the corner situations you might want to use that for. Don't use it too often. Crouch D is her sweep. Probably be good for as a whiff punish if you need to get a knockdown for some reason, but usually I would just opt for Crouch C if I was in a situation like that.
Alright, cool. Marco?
I'm gonna have to agree with Freddy and Choysauce. Like they mentioned all the tools she has. Like for me, I like using Crouch B a lot. Like it's very low profile, and you could do 2 Crouch Bs into a DP. And as I mentioned earlier, like when you try to throw a TP and everything else, I think her sweep's pretty good. You could trip guard that, and keep the pressure going with her standing normals. That's what we mentioned earlier.
Right, cool. I think another cool thing about her sweep is that it can actually evade a lot of kind of high height projectiles and stuff like that, from what I understand. Like Andy's quarter circle back punch fireball is pretty good.
It'd probably be safer to just use the crouch B, like Freddy was mentioning, because you could just stay low profile the whole time if you're gonna crouch under something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to time it, just mash it.
Oh, word. Okay, that might be better then.
Yeah, because then you don't have to time it. You might like run into it by accident or something.
Right. Okay. All right. All right. Why don't we talk about real quick her 4B, the Phoenix bomb, because I know we've been kind of talking about that, quite a while. But yeah, Marco, why don't you tell us a little bit about her Phoenix bomb 4B, the command normal?
Wait, 4B, her command normal?
Yeah.
But
Phoenix Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused by that. Oh, her forward B. Okay, when she like basically puts her back towards you.
Yeah.
It's good pressure. Like it's the best. Like jump B into standing B, cancelable, and like it could be very tricky if you do like a regular target combo like standing C into forward B. It's all about the guessing game. Like you can do a delay Phoenix arrow, like a light one, and command grab. Or, if they're gonna like, if you wanna like take a risk, you do like a EX Phoenix arrow and you can follow with like, a DP, a command grab. Like to me, it's like a safe option. And I don't know, it's just really, really good pressure, especially in the corner. Like it's so good.
Yeah, it's such a good normal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like the weird thing about it is like in the air and on the ground, the properties are different. Like you can, I think it counts as a special move when it's in the air, so you can actually do like juggle. There's some combos that require that you do the air version as opposed to doing it from the ground version, so that it continues the juggles. And like I mentioned before, the hitbox is amazingly huge and it's like super active. I think it's a huge part of her corner throw game, because if people want to jump and like and you know that it's going to happen, a lot of people you'll have to usually meaty, like with other characters to tag them for their jump. But with Athena, you can actually get a lot of damage off of jumping with them, which opens up a lot of like safer options for her. Because there's characters like Iori that can EX command grab you if you want to do a meaty, and that's like huge damage on you, like to you if you're going to guess wrong. So you can like do the Phoenix arrow in the air and like convert a big combo off of it, and because of the properties that it has. And I think the biggest, I would say, asset of her for B is that you can cancel it from the backdash, and that's how you get the really big backdash. And if you do 2 of those, then you're pretty much full screen like immediately.
Very cool, very cool. Oh, you can also cross up with the air 4B, right?
Yeah, it's a huge cross-up hitbox.
Cool. Freddy, any thoughts on 4B from your perspective?
Just wanted to add that on top of what Marco and Choysauce said, it's a really good normal, both on the air, on the ground and in the air. One thing I want to mention is that don't spam it out too much, especially on the ground, because when people catch on to you, if you don't hit confirm every single time, there's definitely ways to punish it, especially against characters like Shen. Shen can he can just do a super after he blocks the Phoenix bomb and punish you. Other characters, they can do a guard cancel roll and punish you. So be careful.
Yeah, very good. That's a very good thing to notice. Especially for new Athena players, they might want to try to spam it, so it's not foolproof. So why don't we talk about her special moves? Why don't we start with basically everybody's favorite, her Psycho Ball. I don't think there's very much to say about it, right? Right, Choysauce?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like the A version. I guess we can explain properties and usages of each version. So the A version, the startup is a little slower, but the recovery is really good, and it's a slow fireball. The C version, the startup is fast, and it moves fast, but the recovery is a little lacking. So, like, usually for combos, you start off with the A versions because they're the ones that recover faster, so you can do combos after. The EX Fireball, really slow startup, but what's nice about the EX Fireball is because of how slow it comes out, a lot of people will tend to react and jump on top of it by accident because they're expecting a normal fireball, and then you can get a juggle combo off of that.
Cool. Marco, any thoughts about her Psycho Ball?
I think the Psycho Ball is pretty much like the best uses for zoning. Like you can mix them up with a slow or fast one. it does everything, and especially with her EX cycle ball, and it's really, really slow. Like, that's pretty much, for me, in my opinion, like, I think it's like the jail-free card. Like, you could just follow the cycle ball right after she throws it, and there's nothing they can really do. Like, there's like so many options. If someone tries to jump over, to cross under, and a potential mix-up, potential punish, or if they get hit, it's a free DP. Like, he just has that cycle ball, pretty much what makes Athena, lame and very useful. That's just how I see it.
Okay. Freddy, anything you want to add about her cycle ball before we move on?
Pretty much what everything that Choysauce and Marco said. I can't think of anything else.
Right. Yeah, me either. So we're gonna talk about her her Dragon Punch, her Cycle Sword, and we was kind of talking a little bit about this earlier about some of her like disadvantages. Yeah, Choysauce, you wanna kind of take the mic on her Dragon Punch, her Cycle Sword?
Yeah, sure. So the A version's really, really fast startup, no invincibility, like Freddy mentioned, and the C version, same thing. It's invincible but slower startup, so it's easy. It's a lot easier to safe jump if on her wake up, and it does move her forward. So like it's easy to overjump her, like when if she's trying to use the DP as like a anti-air or like a get off me move. But that's what the her super sport to cover that like top of her head kind of area.
Right.
But that's what makes it a little bit more difficult in the anti-air game because of the fact that you have to really know where your opponent's going to be when you use the DP. So like in terms of anti-airing, A is usually set because it's so fast. It's kind of hard to like mistime it, so that because there's a lot of times when you can do the CDP and you do it a little bit too late, and then they'll be able to land and block it. EXDP, I think it's kind of useless because it's like it pretty much does everything that the CDP does, but it's just a little bit faster, a little bit more damage, I think. But I guess maybe there's something left to be explored about like those properties that we need to kind of flesh out. See if I if we prefer to use that as opposed to like the CDP in certain situations or something like that.
Right. Okay. Marco, anything to add about her DP?
I agree with Choysauce says. Like the best way to do the zoning game is to do the light DP. Like it's a fast startup that doesn't have any visibility. But I think you could probably use like the heavy DP. Is perhaps maybe finish is jumping, not hyper jumping or anything else, and not the punish. I think that best using her heavy DP will probably be in the corner. Just like, at the end and everything else, so it does a lot of damage at the end. And her EXDP, I never really used it because, I don't know, I just found it pointless, and I never really explored that, so pretty much it.
Okay. Freddy, any thoughts?
One more thing I want to add is that Athena's ADP, in addition to being a really good anti-air, if you do it early enough, it's also a really good punishing move. You can use the ATP to punish a lot of moves like Andy's elbow. You can punish Elizabeth's DP, Raiden's tackle. You can just like do ATP and punish.
Man, really?
So it's one of the best punishers in the game, actually, without spending any meter.
Yo, I didn't know that, man. I thought it was probably too short of a distance.
No, it actually covers like 2 characters away. You can hit people with that.
Oh man, I'm learning new stuff.
The horizontal hitbox is good.
Word, I never knew that, man. I might have to experiment around with that. Yeah, some good stuff. Okay, why don't we talk about her her cycle throw, her super cycle throw. Choysauce, you can go ahead and take it.
Yeah, I think this is like definitely one of her best moves in the game. I think it's one of the best command grabs in the game because it's a 3-frame startup and it's invincible, which is unheard of for like a meterless command grab. So what's really good about it is like if you're doing like tick pressure with it, you don't really have to time it super well to pull off the command grab. And a lot of people though want to do like crouch speed or like counter the fact that you're trying to do like a command grab setup. But it'll go right through that because it's invincible, and on top of that, you can get like half-life damage off of it, like depending on where you are on the screen. So it's super, super good. I think it's a huge part of her game.
Right. Cool. And it does like 125 if you let them drop, right?
Yeah, so mid-screen, if you have like 0 meter, that's actually the most damaging thing to do, just to let them drop. But like usually, you usually want people in the corner. So I tend to opt for the less damage and try to do like a forward beam to Psycho or into Phoenix Arrow if that has 0 meter, so to get them close to the corner. You can actually get the butt loop, which we can talk about a little later, off of this as well, if you have meter. And yeah, and the EX1 actually does damage going up. It does 80 damage going up, and then you get a 137 if you let them drop off of that. And the recovery of the EX1 is faster, so you can get some different combos using that.
And is there more hang time with the EX1, right?
No, it's you recover. The hang time for the character flying up is the same, but Athena recovers faster.
Ah, okay, cool. All right, Marco, any thoughts on her super cycle throw?
Choysauce covers basically what was mentioned, like 3 frames startup and it's invincible. Like you can't really beat that. Like to throw command grab. I like to use the command grab in the corner, but I also like to use EX dash into command grab. Like, I think it's really, really good. Like, that's just a mix-up. And, like, even mid-screen, you can do, like, take regular command grab, and, like, you can just keep running and pushing them to the corner. Like, that's what you want to see. Like, once you get the command grab in the corner, it's over, in my opinion. Like, that's just free for 1 drive cancel. That's like a free 400 damage, and if it's 1 drive cancel 1 meter, then I think it's maybe 415, something like that. So I think it's really good.
Okay, cool. Freddy, anything you like to add?
I think I'm looking at the wiki right now. I think only the EX cycle throw is 3 frames. The normal version is 7 frames.
7 frames, wow.
Yeah, but it's invincible. So one thing that's good about this move is that it's invincible and it's slow. So that means that you can actually blow up safe jumps with this move. So like when Kim does like his safe jumps, you can like wake up, command grab, and grab him out of his safe jump. Yeah. Another thing you can do on top of what Choysauce mentioned, after a command grab, you can set up a safe jump. What you want to do is to hold up after a command grab, after you jump, and then just hold up forward. That's a safe jump.
It's a perfect safe jump too. Not even EX flash kick from Kim can beat it.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Oh wow, I'm gonna have to try that out. Damn, good stuff, y'all. Okay, why don't we talk about her cycle reflector? Yeah, why don't we start with Marco? We think about her psycho reflector.
I think that's a really good tool for her to have. Like, you can't beat her in the zoning game. Like, Ash, Pencil, like, Fireball game with the reflector, you can't beat it. And the good thing about it is that it also can reflect supers. Like, I know with Rio and Takumba, like, if you try to do, like, a super Fireball, Athena can reflect that. And it's a really good tool, especially in the corner when you have drive cancel. That's one of the best reflectors you could do. Like, as I mentioned, her target combo 70C, 4B, and then you do her Phoenix Arrows, you drive cancel into her reflector, and then there's a Cycle Ball DP. So there's any other combos you want to put in particular. So I think it's a good tool. And I'm not sure. I think it can also trade with jump-ins. I'm not sure what version it is. Like, it can also trade with a normal. Maybe Choysauce or Freddy could verify that, but I'm pretty sure it can.
Repeat what you just said?
I'm saying like a reflector. It can also trade with a normal, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure which version, either the light one or the heavy one.
Oh, you mean like the combo into it with the normal, you said?
No, say for example, if someone tries to like jump in towards you and everything else, like, let's just say for example, Kia jumps in and everything else, or like Shen's jump C or whatever. So, I'm not sure which version, but I think it trades, if I'm not mistaken.
I usually tend to use just the B version. I know, like, I play Warlock sometimes, and then I'll just throw it out, and then, like, he hops into it, because it actually is a pretty good anti-hop move. But then, like, obviously if you whiff it, then you're pretty much dead. But, like, because it's pretty active as a hitting, as a hit. Like, it works pretty well as an anti-hop tool.
Yeah, one way I like to use this reflector on top of reflecting fireballs is that, like, in the corner, I go for a take grab setup. If I know that my opponent is going to hold up back, I will do crouch B, walk forward, and then reflect. And then I will usually hit them on the way down, and then I can do a cycle ball and then DP afterwards.
Oh wow, that's dirty, man.
Yeah, what's nice about it is it's safe on block. That's why.
Oh, it's actually a plus on block.
Oh, it's plus on block. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Another thing to know about her shield is that it gains a lot of meter. It gains a good amount of meter. Like, the light one or the heavy one, like, you can just use that. It gains a good amount of meter. Like, that's a good meter gainer.
Yeah.
And
and the reflector really reflects pretty much everything. Like Leona's earrings, you can reflect that. Mature's EX Fireball, reflect that. Yeah, pretty much everything.
Yeah, everything except for Karate's Fireball, which isn't really Fireball.
EO New Max, you can reflect that. I tried that so many times.
And her EX reflect it when it reflects a fireball. It brings another fireball with it, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think most Athena players don't tend to use the EX as much, because like it's good enough to have just the fireball come back at them, because when she actually gets her fireball reflected, she recovers immediately.
Okay.
So it'll pretty much act like a sonic boom for her, and then like having a second one out there doesn't feel like it's all that much more better. So like I think that's why people tend to not use it as much. But I think yeah, I mean that's pretty much my opinion about the EX version.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the only times I use the EX reflector is in a Athena mirror match.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. When we're playing the ping pong game, I'll just throw that out.
Yeah, that's always fun to do. It's like Rose Ball, but in KOF.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we talk about her her Phoenix Arrow? I mean, we talked about it a couple times. Quarter circle back, kick in the air, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Choysauce, why don't you tell us a little bit about her Phoenix Arrow?
Yeah. So the B version, like there's two versions of the B version. It does a really kind of a sharp angle from the air, and it doesn't have a kick afterwards. But it's a lot more safer than the D version. The D version has that kick that comes out. That's pretty much like a combo only kind of deal, or like if it's off a hit confirm or something. EX version, it has a mix of both. It'll do the kick. It's really fast, and it's relatively safe. I mean, they're all minus on block, so anybody that has like a one frame throw, it's like guaranteed punish. But most of the casts, they tend to have a hard time punishing it properly, because it kind of recovers like so fast. It happens so fast. Okay, yeah. So Phoenix, I think the EX version is really good for cross-ups too. Like if you kind of do it right above their head, like it's kind of hard to tell where they have to block. And like Freddie mentioned, it's really good for tick throws for the B version, and I'd say the D version as well. I mean, the EX version, not the D version.
Okay. Oh, what was you saying, Freddie?
Oh, the Phoenix Arrow, the EX one, it auto-corrects the kick at the end.
Ah, okay. That's cool. And it's safe on block as well, right?
No, it's -2, so you can just mash a normal grab afterwards.
Okay. But if no one has a command grab, or if they don't want to...
No, if you don't have a command grab, can just mash a normal grab, but can break it.
Okay. Cool. Marco, any thoughts on her Phoenix Arrow?
Phoenix Arrow. Normally, I just use like I do like forward B. I'll just probably use the light one normally, and then either take to a command grab, or if you want to be really really risky, you can do the EX Phoenix Arrow. I'm not sure what the properties of that. Anybody can verify. Is it based on blocks?
-2.
-2.
Yeah,
But
it gets you really close, so command grabs will punish it. One frame command grabs will punish it.
Okay. In those type of cases, you know that they're going to do a command grab, you could just do DP. Take the risk. And other than that, like, when it comes to just, like, that Phoenix Arrow, just, I think the light one's the way to go, in my opinion.
Okay.
I can add one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
So, like, as Choysauce mentioned, the D version is good for combos, and then the B version doesn't have the kick, so you can combo afterwards. So sometimes what I do is, like, if someone whips something, and then they know that I'm going to go for a full punish, but instead of going for the close C, 4B, and then the D version, I go for the B version. And then when I land, I go for command grab reset, especially in the corner. So that's like 130 mix-up.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to try to get some extra damage off if you're going for some kind of setup.
Yeah.
And there's a quick little trick with the Phoenix Arrow too. If you backdash, you can actually do the Phoenix Arrow as well. So it's pretty good against like Clark, who likes to do like wake up command grab setups. And also you could build some meter doing backdash B Phoenix Arrow.
Oh yeah. That puts a lot of meter.
Sounds good. So I think the last special move we could talk about is her teleport, right? We talked about her teleport?
No, not yet.
Okay, cool. Yeah, why don't we talk about her teleport? Half circle forward kick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can go ahead and tell us a little bit more. Choysauce.
Yeah, sure. So the B version goes about like half screen, like right up to like where the counter is on the bottom, and then the D version goes with like pretty much like 3/4 screen, like almost full screen. Like you get pretty close to the person if you do that. EX version, it's a little bit shorter than the D version, but it's invincible. But it's not invincible to throws. But everything else is invincible too. And the cool thing about the EX version is it's a free cancel. It's a special move, so you can kind of like just do EX into like a command grab into DP. Like I like to call like EX teleport into DP out of the corner. Like I call it like her berserker splash, you know, like from Marvel, because it's like you can't block that. It's like that mix up is really fast. And it's really good, like, in the neutral game, too. If you're pressuring them, you could kind of just, like, hit a couple normals, EX teleport, and then you, like, cross them up, and then you could go for, like, a command grab or something, and, you know, it's really fast mix-up. But, like I said, it's not throw invincible, but it's pretty much, like, almost impossible to do, like, a normal throw, like, from it. So, like, there's only 2 characters I can think of that can punish it. Maybe 3 characters that can punish it kind of consistently would be Maxima, Yuri, and Karate, because they have running command grabs, which is like kind of like a running bear grab. So like whenever she does it, she'll definitely run into them when they do it. So that'll definitely keep her in the corner. If they're like if you know that they love to do the EX teleport out of the corner.
Cool, very cool. Freddy, any thoughts or things like to add about her psycho teleport?
Not much. The normal versions, like, pretty much only use them in combos, especially the light version, to extend your combos. I never use the heavy version because it's kind of slow and not very safe. Yeah.
Okay.
On top of that, I couldn't think of anything.
Okay, cool. Marco, any thoughts on the teleport?
Like, I can't really think of anything. Like, the light one's probably your best bet. Like, as Freddy mentioned, the D one, I never use it because, for me, it's, like, not safe, and I think it's kind of pointless. The best teleport is actually the EX one. Like, that's just, like, a good jail free card, in my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, I have nothing else to add.
Okay. So I think we come to a general consensus when we say the heavy kick teleport is bad.
Well, I think the only use for it, like, and then it'd be like a sole use, is like I do it sometimes when I'm getting pressured, and I know I can hit like I can at least make them block like a stand A or stand B. Then I'll cancel it into the D version, so I can get away really far. So like, I like hit them, like pick them with the hit, because then they can't really react with like a DP or like a command grab like right after that. So like I'll just do the D version and get away and get out of the corner if I want to try to stay neither and not use the EX version.
That's I never thought of it that way. Oh man.
Yeah, and in the B version, if you anti-air, someone with like a normal, and then you do that B version, then you could probably go for like a mix-up, like a cross-under mix-up or something.
Right.
If you're looking to pressure right after that situation.
Okay. Hey, that's a pretty good idea, man. All right. So we're all done with her special moves, right? As far as I could remember.
Yeah, I think we covered them all.
Okay. All right. Why don't we talk about her desperation move, the shining crystal bit, the double half circle back punch. Choysauce. Can you tell me?
Yeah. So this super is actually, I think, one of the best supers in the game. Honestly, like at least for a defensive super. Like, yeah, so because it's super fast on startup, like it'll catch a lot of. It's like surprisingly fast. It'll catch people. I mean, if they're like really close to the ground. Like, it's like super good anti-air, and you can actually use it in the air, but you can only do the level 1 version in the air, and then the EX one you can do on the floor. And then what's weird about it is that you can cancel it after you activate it, which I kind of find pointless, unless they're like super far away for some reason, and I don't know why you would do that super from that far away. But yeah, so you can cancel it if you hit all 4 buttons. But what I like to do is like if I do end up whiffing it and we bait it, I just let it rack, because like a lot of times they'll run into it, because it's really hard to tell. At least people didn't put in the time obviously to counter Athena, so like they'll kind of like walk up to it and hoping that they could get like a close C punish, but then like they'll stop that, which is really funny. Yeah, and it blows up safe jumps pretty well because of how fast it is too, and because it's invincible. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much my spiel about the super.
Okay, cool. Freddy, any thoughts on her super?
Yeah, just like what Choysauce said, I like to let it rock if I whiff it, but what I like to do is I like to do the Mexican tactics. I like to hit some buttons and let my opponent know that he's gonna cancel it, but instead of pressing all 4 buttons, I press like 3. So sometimes they fall for it and get hit.
All right, cool. Marco, any thoughts?
As Choysauce said, I think that's one of her best defensive tools. Like, if you have a feeling her DP's gonna cross up and everything else, then her super is pretty much the way to go. That'll be her answer. And one of the things I like to do for super, I like to trick people. It's kind of like when I'm in a corner, and many people, when you try to do like a quick up Athena, a crouch beat. So what I see, opponents, they tend to jump really high. So what I like to do when they jump, I'll just do a super to punish them. I think that's very effective. And other than that, nothing else to add, just that.
All right, cool.
Well, I got a couple of other things. If you're ever playing, I mean, I've yet to do this, but I'm planning on it. There's a lot of players who can react to fireballs really well at the spacing, where it's a really bad idea to throw a fireball. This is actually a good tactic to use against people who have really good fundamentals, and it's that you do a fireball and then just whiff cancel that right into the super. Try to do it as late as you can so that they react, but then they're jumping right into the super. And also, the super, the level 2 super, I don't find it super useful unless it's going to kill, because it kind of scales kind of bad. So I tend to usually just go for the level 1 super in combos. And but the level 2 super is really good for chip as well, Because even if you guard cancel well, it kind of has a hitbox on the backside, so they're gonna have to spend like 2 meters to fully get away from it if you're cornering them.
Cool. I do notice sometimes, like, some players, they have trouble like punishing Athena if you let the super rock or whatever, because they don't know when she's gonna hit the ground and stuff like that. Like, I think that's kind of funny. So I would probably advise new players to, try to find the timing on when she's vulnerable after the.
Yeah, she recovers actually relatively quickly, so it's kind of hard to run up and do a proper punish. So it's most advisable to do just an invincible move that'll just go right through it. But what's weird about it is, I think if you throw a fireball at it, it'll actually neutralize it. So for the level 1 super, I think if you do, I have to verify. I'll check real quick. We can move on and I'll bring it back up.
Okay.
But I think if someone throws a fireball at it, it'll neutralize that single hit, and you can just walk right into it. But
yeah.
Let me verify though. But,
yeah, I think it does.
Okay. Why don't we talk about her Neomax? The back forward AC Psycho Medley 13. Yeah, any thoughts on that, Marco Polo, on her Neomax?
Honestly, I rarely use a Neomax, so only if I'm just going to do HD, then I'll just use it at the end, and it's very flashy, as Freddie mentioned. But other than that, Neomax, I can't really say much, because I really don't use it.
Okay. Freddy, thoughts on her Neomax?
Yeah, pretty much what Marco said. I only use it in HD combos, or I have Athena and I have full bars, and I'll land a command grab mid-screen, and then I can follow up with the Neomax and do 400 damage, and if I can get a kill, I will go for that. Otherwise, I pretty much will stay away from using it.
Okay. Cool. Choysauce?
yeah, her Neomax, I think it's really, really good actually, because it's super fast and it's invincible and it goes a long distance. But yeah, it's definitely if you really need the damage, you just go for it raw. Usually used in combos. But I think of the Neomaxes, among all the characters, definitely one of the more useful ones to use just raw. Okay, and I just did the super test with the fireball. Yeah, it doesn't neutralize it. So you have to just figure out the timing.
Okay. All right. I made a little mistake earlier. We skipped her normal throw. I want to know. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So why don't we talk about some setups from her normal throw that any of y'all have in mind or like to use and that you want to share?
You can hop forward B and go for a cross up. You can also hop forward and do the butt. No, that's also a cross up.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's good to mix that up with a jumping C or the forward B Marco was mentioning. Other than that, it's that's probably the only setup you get off of it, off of either throw, because both throws are pretty much the same.
Right. Okay. Marco, any normal throw setups or any other ones that come to mind?
Not the one. I think Choysauce and LazieFreddy explained it perfectly well.
Okay. Yeah, there's one that I really like to use, which involves her 4B, which crosses up. It's kind of like a little option select that someone posted it a while ago, and after it crosses up, you do her EX Phoenix arrow, and if it gets hit, they get hit, but if it's blocked, you can either tick them into something or you can kind of use its partially safe frames or whatever, on block, to kind of keep the pressure going, if they're not going to punish it. And if they roll, if you input it correctly, you can have it where she would like EX Psycho reflect, and it will kind of chase them or whatever, or it would do the teleport, so it kind of depends on your like execution. But it's something that I've been practicing. I'm having a little trouble getting either one of the or the other when they roll, if they don't want to get hit by the overhead. So
yeah, I mean, my opinion on that is I think you always got to hit confirm that one, because it's actually, you get a pretty decent sized window to hit confirm into the Phoenix era, but I think it's like, you just get used to just kind of doing it, because it's like you don't really get punished hard for not confirming it, but it's definitely a waste of meter if you don't confirm it, in my opinion. Like, 'cause you don't really get the result you want, from just doing it.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's working for me so far, but I'll definitely take heed to that, for sure. Okay, so why don't we just touch upon really quickly just some basic bread and butters, like a beginner or a mid-level player might get into. I don't think we should talk about every single one of them, and we can even go a little bit into her like butt loop combo. But what bread and butters you think an Athena player should try to know off the bat? Choysauce?
Okay, so for her bread and butters, I would say this about for every character. I always know the meterless ones. Her best meterless ones that are hit confirmable will be like crouch BB, stand A into ADP. That's probably the easiest to hit confirm. Obviously, like standing C for close C, forward B into D Phoenix Arrow, and then like close C into DP. Those are probably some of her more damaging combos that are meterless. I think like in terms of combo talk, I think we should just leave it up to people discovering and looking them up on the forums. But in terms of which combos I prefer, midstream, I definitely always, if I can, go for the butt loop combo. And like different ways that, like, I found like at least like 20 different ways to like go into the butt loop combo, because it's such a cheap and damaging combo, but it's really hard not to not do it. But there's definitely a lot of people that have trouble with like finding the timing to do it. So there's a couple of setups that I found that are guaranteed if you know the timing. If you just like hold forward after the setup, it's a close C into CDP, and you do the EX fireball. You just hold forward and then learn the timing for the hop, and you can do that. Crouch BB stand A into ADP, that's one of them, into the EXDP dry cancel. That's another one where you can just hold forward, and then you just do you just start up the butt loop. So those are some pretty easier ones to do in that sense. And corner combos tend to go to the EX like C, close C, forward B into EX Phoenix Arrow, because you can get pretty damaging combos and choose how much meter you want to spend with that one. Because if you just go straight into the D Phoenix Arrow and then drive cancel, you don't have a lot of options after to decide how much meter you want to spend.
Okay, that's some pretty good insight, man. A little bit back to the butt loop combo, man. Is it a pretty good tip, to after you do the EX fireball and you're walking forward, right? Is it best to start hopping right when you see her sprite face the other way, or what?
Like my the way I do it, it's like I kind of feel it for in my hand, just the muscle memory.
Yeah.
But like a lot of times I have to kind of eye it. So when I do eye it, it's like right as I'm passing under them, right before they turn around.
Okay.
So, like the way I kind of feel it out is like I try to get under them right as they're about to fly away, and then I jump as they're flying away, kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird. I'm just like, just different ways to think about it, and that's kind of how I think about it.
Right. Do you feel that every Athena player should know how to do the?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, like the amount of meter that it takes up, and the amount of the many different ways you can go into it. Like it's definitely like a huge part of my game, and it's what I feel like makes my Athena really successful, because it's such low meter cost, and it's like a mid-screen combo, which usually in most fighting games it's a corner combos you want. So this is a mid-screen combo that's like a lot more damaging than like I guess like I would say like at least half a cast like mid-screen combo for the single minute meter.
Okay. All right. Very cool. All right. Dang. What else should we talk about, man? Why don't we try to pull some topics from you guys? What do you think we should try to talk about that will be helpful to any Athena players? Because I'm kind of drawing some blanks.
I think like if you want to play the zoning game, just pretty much just focus on your spacing and timing. Because like if you're just going to be like many Athena players, or some Athena players that never played, they just spam fireballs and DP. Learn how to space them properly and learn how to punish them. Like there's many other options, and Athena has many other tools besides being a zoner. She could rush you down in the corner. She's very deadly. That's what many people do not understand about her. Like, it really depends on how you want to use her. You want to be zoning, then practice your spacing and timing. You want to be rush down, then practice your hit confirms, learn the bubble. And you want to go in between, just incorporate both of what we mentioned. That's about it.
Okay. I have one kind of quick discussion question that we can try to build upon. Can we compare Athena to King? Because some people may say, okay, like why should I pick Athena if there's King, and King has an air fireball, and she has a tornado kick, and she has longer confirms. Like, what do y'all think about the comparison between King and Athena, since they're both kind of much zoning characters?
So King is definitely more pressure heavy. Like she doesn't really have a mix up. Athena does. She has like really tricky mix ups, and King is a lot more straightforward, but she has more powerful like normal tools, and but she doesn't really have a big anti-air game. Like she would maybe use like surprise rolls or like EX trap shot sometimes. It's not the best, but like her game is that you really lock them down, with the air fireballs and also the ground fireballs. You really make them like really annoyed just by those things. But and then Athena, it's more like high risk, high reward in my opinion, because her fireball game, she actually has a DP game with it, but because she has the command grab, I think she's much more dangerous up close.
Okay. Any thoughts on that, Freddy?
Yeah, I agree. I think Athena does well against most characters, except a few casts like Kula. Against Kula, she can't really zone, and she gets out poked. So yeah.
Okay. Marco, any thoughts on comparing King to Athena?
Compared to Athena, is all about zoning. King is just pressure, heavy pressure. But mixed with potential, I think Athena has the upper hand.
Okay.
That's just how I see it.
All right, cool. Yeah, I agree with you guys.
Yeah, I think maybe we could talk about general matchups maybe too. Like we mentioned, I think people that outpoke her definitely beat her. Mai, I think, is a really bad matchup for her actually, because she has much better range, and like she in the ranges where like Athena doesn't really have her tool with the fireball. That's where she's really weak. I think like really close up game, it's like kind of weak for Athena. So like characters like Kim, it's like it's like when you talk about Zangief, it's like when they're out, that's like an 8-2 matchup, but when they're in, then it flips. It's the other way around.
Oh, okay. Any other characters you think she excels against or isn't very good against?
I also don't really like the Athena King matchup because the very reason that King's light fireball, it doesn't really travel full screen. So when you try to reflect that, it doesn't really reflect all the way back. So, and Athena kind of gets out-poked by King, so I don't really like that matchup, but it's doable. But I just don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, because Athena has a really high hop, so she can't really like punish the slide, like random slides that King can do.
Yeah.
Like, she would have to like commit to like a Phoenix arrow if she sees it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Any thoughts, Marco?
I'm pretty much going to say, a lot of matchups, like, struggling, I say King is pretty much a tough one, as Freddie mentioned. Like, you can throw a lot of fireball, and Athena can reflect it, but, like, it doesn't reach it, like, it disappears halfway, so King can just dash in as a free punish. Other matchups, like, anyone that could get Athena and rush her down to the corner, like, pretty much going to be really, really tough unless you have, like, EX dash. Other than that, like, I would say King is probably, like, a bad matchup for Athena, in my opinion.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. I have a question. Where do y'all think where do y'all think Athena is best placed on a team? Like, the team position?
In my opinion, I say point. Either point or second. Like, point, you could basically just know your fireballs have your zoning game ready, or you can put her second so she can gain the meter for your anchor. That's where I will put her. I would never put her as anchor. I think her best solid gameplay and position would either be point or second, but specifically point.
Yeah, I definitely agree with her. She should be at first or second, because like my opinion for like the three positions, like the first one has to always have like a good, very powerful neutral game, and like they can build meter. Second character, like they can use a little bit of meter and do a lot of damage, and she fits both of those criteria. So I feel like my favorite position for her is the second position, because you get the option for really high damaging combos with her.
Okay, cool. Freddie, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like her either point or second. As a point character, she can build a lot of meter really quick. She can do the Tiger Knee, Phoenix Arrow to build meter. She's also really good as a second, as Choysauce mentioned. She gets a lot of damage out of using meter, like one drive. One bar, she can get up to like 400 something damage. So she's also good second. I don't think she's good as a anchor though.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let's see what else we can talk about. Would it be a good thing to ask about any of her like kind of pressure strings, or some kind of good offensive like pressure, any like block strings or something, or
I think the main thing would be like using stand A's to kind of lock them down, just to make sure that they don't want to like jump away. To set up like command grabs, and I think like on wake up, like in the corner, like if you're gonna mix them up with like with a command grab, or like if like if they're gonna jump. Like I mentioned before, jumping with them is really a really good option, because you can do the target of a Phoenix Bomb, which is the butt, or you can just go straight into like a Phoenix Arrow, like a B version, and you can combo after that as well. And you can also, like, if you're really ballsy, you can, like, if you want to make that huge read, you can like jump up with them and react with the HD bypass B Phoenix Arrow and then just do like a HD combo off of that. And also, like, you can do the standard, medium to like whatever combo you want to do. Do that mix up in the corner.
Cool, very cool. Freddy, you have any pressure strings, block strings, offense?
My go-to string is low B twice. If it hits, I hit confirm into DP. If it doesn't hit, I either go for a frame trap or walk up, command grab, or beta DP. So that's how I usually play her.
Okay, cool. Marco?
Freddie, we played. That's the same exact thing I do. My goodness. Freddie knows it. I play the same thing he said is the same thing I do. I give up. I can't say much. Freddie beat me to it.
It's all good. Cool. All right. Well, what about defensively? I know we've talked about her normals quite a bit, and her special moves quite a bit. But what should someone do if like they're in the corner with Athena and they really want to get out? Like, what normals and special moves or things that they just shouldn't do to try to get out the corner, or to just not get hit?
If you're in the corner, I'm probably gonna say either just block and just EX if you have meter. EX command grab, EX dash out of there. Because, like, as we mentioned earlier, like, Athena has any wake-up options, and you don't want Athena to be in the corner. So your best option is to get out of the corner, EX dash. That's what I would do.
Okay. Choysauce?
I agree. It's definitely one of the more safest options for her. Like, I mean, if you want, you could buffer the super, or, like, just go balls out and do a CDP. But if they jump over you, then like buffering the super would be a better idea. But EXDP definitely, I think, is the safest because the recovery is pretty much. I think that its recovery is like 0, or it might be like -1. Like it's really fast recovery, so they really can't punish you big for it unless they really expect it.
Cool. All right, Freddy, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, pretty much what Choysauce and Marco said. It really depends on how your opponent is playing. If they like to jump at you when you're waking up, I would just buffer a super, and if I see they jump, I'll just press the button. If they just like stand there and like dash up and like to pressure you with their dash up strings, and you can just EX teleport out. If your opponent likes to safe jump on you on your wake up, I would just do a command grab and grab them out of it. A lot of people don't know that Athena can blow up safe jumps, but she actually is pretty good at that with her command grab.
All right, cool. So, all right, is there anything else we should discuss about Athena? Do you think we kind of like covered like a lot? Because this is a lot of good stuff.
I think we covered all the essential information well. Like, I don't think what else we could talk about. Like, actual combos, like, everyone has a specific way how to do combos in the corner, how they play. They can play a rush style, play zoning. Like me, I play Athena as a zoning type of character normally. So if I need to rush down, then I will, only if I have the proper tools. But majority of the time, it's just zoning. And I think we covered everything. Her super, her moves, her normals. I think they're pretty good, even matchup. So
yeah, I think one thing we can talk about is like trappings of like typical players, I guess, or like things you need to get over as an Athena player, maybe.
Yeah.
And I know Marco mentioned that the spacing for her is really, really important because like because of like super jumps and hyper hops, it's really it can be easy to get over her fireballs because it's such a rush down heavy game. So I think definitely making sure you always do well placed fireballs and like do it at times where they don't expect it. Because when the opponent has meter, like half the cast can do like a round super and like just blow you up for it. So like getting predictable with your fireballs is always a trapping that I think most zoning players will fall into. Like like you do like a one backdash bet. It's like people will tell you, oh, you always do one backdash bet right into fireball like, every time or something. So like you gotta watch out for being predictable in that sense. I think I think that's one thing to note for her zoning game.
Okay, Freddie, any thoughts on what Choysauce and Marco just expressed?
Not really. I think Athena is a very versatile character. She doesn't have to be played as a zoning character. It really depends on your opponent. If your opponent is impatient, you can play the zoning game. If they're really patient, you can just like play a close game and command grab if they like to hold down back. I think Athena's like really versatile character. She can play many different ways. She doesn't have to fit into one stereotype or another. That's a good thing about her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, on a general sense about Athena, everyone, what should a beginner do and don't do? Just like, like they shouldn't do this special move or, block or whatever, not do this. Like, what are just some general do's and don'ts?
I think
what you don't do is wake up with something. Like, Athena doesn't have really good wake-up options. It's not really going to be a good idea to just wake up DP or wake up dash, like normal dash, because any compo can beat that. But you just need to take patience with Athena. If you feel like you need to take a risk, then yeah, you can take a risk and everything else, but only if it's going to hit. Obviously, if someone's blocking, that's an easy punch for Athena. I wouldn't recommend doing the same thing again, like, just give it a whole habit to practice your spacing and zoning. Like, if you want to be, like as I mentioned earlier, if you want to be a zoning type of player, spacing is important. Spacing a fireball, spacing on the DP, spacing on the ship guard, when to use your super. It's all important.
Okay.
And managing your meter. Like, if you have Athena for like a point character or a second character, you gotta learn how to match your meter, when to use it, and when to save your meter for the next character.
And I think one thing to mention about her playstyle, because how LazieFreddy was mentioning that she can be played in both kind of positions where she can rush down and also zone. I think really exploring that flow between rush down and zoning, like changing it up, like knowing when to kind of like confuse their opponents that way. And that's why I mentioned before, that's why I call it like rotate with a fireball, because it's like, I'll throw a fireball and play the zoning game a little bit, and then if I feel like, like I'll just like start running at them, and then like they'll be like, oh shoot, he's gonna come at me, so I'm just gonna be ready to like do something, or I don't have to go after her. But then I'm gonna like backdash, and then like I'll just throw my fireball like what the heck he's gonna do. So I think having that learning that flow between offense and defense with her is really important.
Okay.
And also I think one thing to avoid is always just playing just one way and having really predictable setups. Because I know for a fact that like my command grab setups against all the people that I play with, like they get blown up all the time now because it's like super obvious now. So like me as a player, and I have to keep growing, and like so I'm working on trying to make sure I mix up what I'm doing to people when I do when I do anything pretty much with her, because I feel like she's a very mix-up heavy character. Not in the sense of like high lows or left rights, but it's like mixed up in the sense that you're not really sure what the player wants to do with her.
Ooh, very, very, very good information. Freddie, you have anything you want to add, man?
Not really.
Okay.
I think we've pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm just trying to find at least something, man. But what about some like notable Athena players? If someone's looking for some videos on Athena or whatever. I know it could be kind of hard to like search for a specific player, but are there any other like notable Athenas that?
I'm just saying, you want to learn all about like simple fundamentals in zoning. Even though Justin wants to play his games, I think the way he plays Athena as like a zoning and stage 7 character, I think he's pretty smart about that. He's having a good fundamental base as to how to use her station and everything else. That would be a good start. And maybe Choysauce might have videos, and I have videos, and so does Freddy. We all have different styles of how we incorporate Athena. So, you know, that's all I would say.
I know there's one guy on the forums that I think I would consider like a better Athena than me, because he has a lot of tech. Is Tikok, like Tikok? I think he's from France.
I think he's from
the forums. I think he's one of the other major posters in the Dreamcast forums, and he has a lot of good information about Athena. I haven't seen too many videos of him, but I definitely respect the knowledge that he has for Athena.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've been reading that thread ever since I've been learning her, and yeah, he has a lot of good things to say about Athena, a lot of useful tactics and stuff like that. So yeah, big up to Tikok.
And he's the one that I learned that you can actually do running half circle 4 command grabs with the cast. So like, I think that's a trick that you should mention. Like, you could run, and if you do the half circle forward and then end at the up forward, you can actually perform the command grab that way and not get a DP.
Okay. Yeah, I've been trying to experiment with that a little bit, and yeah, that's pretty good, man.
Yeah, so that's actually really good, because you can do a full run and then just command grab them. And it's a little execution heavy, but if it works, then it's golden,
Right. Okay. Cool. And there won't be no like, you won't do a hop by mistake, right? If you.
Well, I need to mess it up.
Okay. Yeah, that's good, because I think I've seen some people like ask a little bit about that. Like, how can I do a running command grab without doing a DP? And yeah, that's cool. Very good.
Yeah, so that would work for anybody really, but I learned it on the Athena forums thanks to Tikok.
Right. Okay. Cool. Very nice. Frederick.
I think there's also a really good Athena player in Japan who recently beat Matt KOF when he went over there. He lost to an Athena player whose name I can't remember, but I'll look him up.
Do you know which tournament he beat him in or something? Or
the V1 tournament that the whole Cafe E team went over there. Yeah, the Athena player beat him. I can't remember his name, but his Athena was pretty impressive. I'll look it up and post it in the forums.
Okay, because yeah, I want to see that. All right.
That's my part of the show, so I might have to get off soon because I have to wake up for my internship tomorrow.
No, it's okay, man. I was thinking about closing it out right now, anyways.
Okay, no problem.
All right, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to let y'all know, thank you so much. Like, yeah, this is such good, like, information. Like, I'm learning Athena, and y'all are schooling me very hard, bringing a lot of good things into realization. So, yeah, thank you, Choysauce. Thanks, LazieFreddy. Thanks, Marco Polo.
Anytime, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I think that's about it for this episode for the KOF 13 Character Series podcast. See y'all soon. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.